I know this is going to be the most random theme. It's gonna come out of left freaking field. Honestly, it's not gonna make much sense, but the theme I wanna see the most in a board game is... Hi everyone, welcome back to the Wolfpack. I am so excited to have you today because I wanna know which theme you wanna see the most translated into a board game. Maybe you've seen one done that hasn't been done in the way you want it to be seen just quite yet. That makes sense, right? Or maybe there's a theme that you're just itching to see in a board game form that you would hit auto back, auto buy if you ever see it in a board game. That's what I wanna know. So let's go and start off with my number one theme that I wanna see first, in no particular order, by the way. First one that I wanna see is one themed around blacksmithing. Hear me out. Blacksmithing is such a cool profession. I just think it's so badass how they're just forging all of these crazy cool things on an anvil and this scorching hot fire. It would be a dream to film a blacksmithing work and then have that like thematically tie into a game themed around blacksmithing. It'd be so cool. The first game that I know that kind of touches on this is Merchant's Cove. If you haven't heard of Merchant's Cove, I'll link my review up here. But in that game, there's a specific class where you're rolling dice and forging weapons as a blacksmith. And I think that's the closest that I've gotten to seeing a blacksmith in a board game, but I would love to see an entire game revolved around that. It would be really cool to have some worker placement, pick 'em and deliver, like Merchant's Road, where you're going around to like different shops and picking up copper, alloy, titanium, all these forms of metals, and then ultimately forging some cardboard weapons and some shields, armor. It'd be even cooler from an aesthetic, purely aesthetic point of view, that instead of forging these cardboard weapons and stuff, instead of having like metal coins, you have metal weapons, like little mini, blunted of course, metal weapons and like metal little armor plates. That'd be really fun to see. Oh, I also just thought of this too, like some end game objectives. There's one singular forge in the middle for everyone. And then maybe you can have like a blind auction, blind bidding mechanism where you can put in different alloys that have different points on the back, and then whoever ends up having the most alloy or most resources there by the end of the game will win some kind of bonus victory point. That'd be awesome to see, right? One mini forge and then everyone putting in a bunch of tokens in there. It'd kind of be like Cleopatra and the Society of Architects where there's a pyramid and everyone's kind of bidding different, I think it was like scarabs in there. Okay, now on the topic of blacksmithing, the next one, theme number 2, is kind of like an IP, but hear me out here. If any of you have ever played Ragnarok online, this was my go-to game in 2009, 2010, senior year of high school for me. And I love this game so much. It was an MMORPG where you are going around and killing monsters like little jellies called porings and skeletons. If any of you have played this game before, let me know because this game is super nostalgic. I actually just downloaded this the other day just to reminisce and how good this game was back then. It honestly aged pretty well too. But in this game, aside from killing monsters and leveling up, what's really cool about it and was like the signature thing about Ragnarok is that you can transition from class to class. For me, I played as the whitesmith, and in order to get to that point, you start off as a novice, gain 10 levels, and then you become a merchant, and then you become a blacksmith. And when you reach level 99 as a blacksmith, you have a choice to reborn. And then when you do that, not only can you transcend into like the higher classes, but you also gain like extra stat benefits and everything. So then you reborn and then you start over again from 0, become a high novice to a high merchant, and then finally to a whitesmith, which was my favorite class to play. What I would love to see translated in that game into board game form is like this open world sandbox where you are leveling up by attacking monsters and leveling up using different quests. Honestly, this is like my board game idea. I've only written out and sketched out ideas for this game. It's nowhere near completion, but it would be awesome to see like this change in classes because the only game I've seen closest to that is from Mind Clash Perseverance, where there's this like you're stuck on an island, you're trying to survive against a bunch of ravaging dinosaurs. And then as you progress in the game, you have a miniature where you're fresh off of a ship, you just landed on the island, to one that has been seasoned and like has tattered clothes and stuff. Super cool. I wanted to take that idea and really push it a lot further. Not to downplay Perseverance, of course. I've never even played the game. Something I do want to play though. But I would love to see this change in classes and physical change in miniatures as you're progressing through a game. That's like my core idea. It would be amazing to see the bunch of classes that you can choose from and how your character is evolving as you're evolving in the game. would be awesome. So that is a number 2, a Ragnarok Online translated game. Should I do a top 5 IPs that I would love to see in a board game form? This actually straight from Foster Meeple, Jamie and Jeff, they did a video just like this. I would love to do a video like that. Okay, theme number 3, hear me out here. A volleyball themed game. Look, if you have ever seen any animes, they make every sport look freaking cool. Like they can make cooking look cool. They can make volleyball. Have you ever seen Haikyuu? Oh my God, it looks amazing. That anime was so good. And I would love to see that as like a deck builder / arena combat game. You have 6 miniatures on your side of the court that you can either play 2v2, and then, you know, one person controls 3, another person controls 3. On the other side of the net is the person you're competing against. So it'd be like a unmatched and Disney Source Arena style game where you have a set of cards that you have a river of cards that you can kind of take out and then build out your deck from bump set spike. So you have a bunch of different bumps type cards and a bunch of different set cards and spike cards. And you can target different tiles on the map to see where your ball's gonna land. And then the other person can have reactive cards to respond to like the speed of your spike or something. It would be really fun, and I would love to see like a fast-paced themed volleyball game. Plus, I feel like it would also bring in the sporting audience as well. I mean, not to say like they don't play games, but it would bring in, I feel like, a fresh new crowd to our beautiful world of board gaming. Okay, I have 2 more themes for you. This next one has been done before, but it hasn't been done to the point that I've enjoyed it at least, and that is a Mage themed game. I have been looking for one since the dawn of time, and I haven't really found one that's like scratched that itch. The closest one that I've gotten to that, like a really good Mage themed game, was Archmage, but I eventually let that game go. You can check out my review too. I ultimately want to play a very interactive, confrontational, skill tree based Mage game where you can specialize in a bunch of different elements: water, fire, earth, air, wind, metal, all those, and have the flexibility to just play around with a bunch of different spells. Poison too, we gotta have a poison themed mage, come on. However, I also have my eye on Black Rose Wars. That's a game I really am excited for. They made like a relaunch of it. I've never played the old one. I don't know if I want to get the old one since the new one's coming out like this year from Kickstarter. And I missed that Kickstarter too. So if any of you played Black Rose Wars, let me know if it's worth it, because it would be amazing to have that spell-themed itched. Okay, final theme on today's list that I would love to see in a board game form. As obscure and as random as it is, hear me out, a frog-themed game. If we can have dragons like Flamecraft, if we can have bees like Honeybuzz, then we can have a frog-themed game. The closest one that I've seen to this was done in Everdell from Pearlbrook. That expansion had frogs, but they don't have any like asymmetry. They're just another set of meeples that you can use. I would love to see like a hybrid of Everdell and Flamecraft together, but with a frog skin over it. How cool would it be, right, to have like baking themed frogs and cooking frogs and, I don't know, blacksmithing frogs, right? And have them just have this worker placement going around and have them doing daily tasks like that, and have this upkeep almost like Stardew Valley. I don't know, I just think it would be a really fun, family, lighthearted game, and it'd be super appealing to like kids and stuff too, especially with artwork from like Andrew Bosley and stuff. Oh my God, it'd be so good. And on top of that, the meeples that they make for it, it would be really nice to see like a 4-legged frog meeple, or even if there were miniatures. Like if any of you have ever watched Naruto, like standing on a frog, there's even like a little pin where you can place your miniature on there and it's like stuck there. Or maybe like there's a frog tongue sticking out and you can put like the miniature on a frog, and then that becomes your mount as you're moving faster and faster since you're mounted now on a frog and hopping around the board. I don't know, I just think it'd be really fun, and I really would love to see a frog themed game. So anyways, thank you all so much for hanging out with me today and listening to my random rant about themes that I want to see. Let me know if these are themes that you want to see as well. Plus, I'm super excited to see all of your really super interesting, unique ideas too about board game themes. Let's have a really fun discussion, and I will see you all in the comments. Team end credits, I have the biggest favor to ask. So I actually just got a haircut. Reason why this is important is because my sister-in-law wanted some credit for the beautiful haircut that she gave me as well. So if you can leave a hashtag best sister ever in the comments, it is going to literally make her day and my day as well. So please leave that down below for me and for her. It'd be amazing. Thanks, Izzy. You're the best.